Welcome to Studio 5. We've got a great lineup in today's show. Let's take a look now at the rundown.
Dad, the door is locked.
There's a window in the back. We'll crawl through that.
Comedian Nate Bargatze in his first feature film.
This movie was a movie very based in my stand-up comedy.
Emerson Day nominated for 3 K-Love Fan Awards.
I started this journey 8 years ago, saying, yes, I will do music.
I don't know what to say.
God will give you the words.
And Sarah Zoyle scores a nomination as well.
I wanted to play Sarah Rector because she's amazing.
We cannot wait to share those stories, so let's jumpstart this week's top 5 countdown so we can get to it. At number 5. It's a winning performance for Israel on the world stage.
Despite international protests and boycotts tied to the Gaza war, Israel also saw a moment of celebration on the world stage this weekend as Israeli singer Noam Batan finished in second place at the Eurovision Song Contest.
How much did this second place finish at the Eurovision Song Contest mean to Israelis?
Efrem, this was a huge deal for Israel. To give you some context, the Eurovision Song Contest is one of the largest live television events in the world.
I was a bit surprised. I thought we're going to be maximum third place because, there's too much politics in the voting process. And I was surprised. Maybe the Jewish communities gave their support around the world and Israel jumped all of a sudden.
At number 4.
I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Big news for a blockbuster franchise in 007.
The search for the next James Bond is underway. Amazon MGM Studios has announced the casting process for a new 007 on social media. While they say they don't plan on commenting on specific details during the casting process, they'll share more on who'll be the new British Secret Service agent as soon as the time is right.
The uplifting entertainment countdown continues throughout the rest of today's show. Before we get to number 3, we want to now focus on the wildly popular comedian Nate Bargatze, who is starring in his very first feature film. In The Breadwinner, he plays a car salesman who is married with 3 daughters. He's the breadwinner. That is, until his wife scores an invention and gets a deal on Shark Tank, and they trade places.
I think I might really have something.
If doing this makes you happy, you have to go for it.
This is a big opportunity. I'm going to give you an offer. But Nate, you have to stay home and take care of the kids.
Yeah, I could do that.
Really?
We're all gonna die.
I'm right here.
You and your friend have a conversation and decide you must make a movie together. How's this story happen?
This movie was a movie very based in my stand-up comedy, not too far removed from a first movie you think I would make. And so it just we took our both experiences and just kind of wrote it, and then here we are. You act like I'm gonna blow the house up.
Bye. Dad, the front door is locked.
There's a window in the back. We'll crawl through that.
What's the difference in performing on stage to make people laugh and making people laugh in a movie?
Well, having to wait a year and a half to make them laugh. I'm so used to that immediate response. I'll get 2 weeks of t-shirts and 2 weeks of underwear.
What happens after 2 weeks?
We throw all this out and start over. I'm very just excited to see everybody. But yeah, that immediate reaction, I know a joke if it works or not exactly at that same point.
Describe set life for me. There are a lot of hijinks and action in here. I can only imagine what set life was like.
It was very fun. I come from stand-up, and so we have no structure really in stand-up comedy. So I liked the structure of just where you had to be somewhere, and you're kind of constantly being told, go here, go here, go here.
What?
Huh?
Where did that come from?
We had a horse on set for a good bit of it. So that added some liveliness. When you throw a horse in a situation, there's a lot of hijinks.
Indeed. How would you say there are similarities and differences between Nate Bargatze and Nate Wilcox?
I think it's I try to keep it somewhat
as relatable as I do with my stand-up. Everything's obviously an exaggerated version of that, but I think it's not. I mean, I don't think it's not too far off. I mean, I wanted to write something that, you know, being the first movie and being able to act in this, I don't want to get, you know, I wasn't going to cry. Like, I knew I couldn't do that. I don't know how to do that yet.
Sam gets picked up at 2:45, and then Gracie and Hadley are 3:15. Don't be late.
I won't be late.
What's the dad era like? Mom goes away, dad is in charge. What's the dad era like?
Just domination, dude. It's getting things done.
You're going the wrong way.
To your school.
To any of our schools. You don't know where our schools are? I'm gonna call Mom.
What? No, give me the phone.
Hang on.
We wanted it to be like, you know, when these roles reverse at the beginning, we're showing you the chaos of it. And then when he flips to the dad era, to be like, look, if this is going to work, we got to do it a way that I know how to do it and can wrap my head around it.
This isn't the 1950s. Dads stay home all the time.
You know, I travel a lot. So there's a lot of things that, you know, you want to be there for that maybe you can't. And so then you learn to, when you're home, really get that quality time. And, you know, I try to, if I can, you know, if I can get up, drive my daughter to school, and like that's where she's going to be very talkative in the morning. Or at night when my daughter's trying to stay up, you know, you kind of take advantage of that. She becomes a pretty big basketball fan around 9 o'clock when she's like, oh yeah, now I want to see how this game ends. I was like, do you? Because you did it at 2 p.m., but you really do at 9.
She makes it look so easy, but it's so hard.
This has the potential to change all of our lives.
The Breadwinner is in theaters nationwide May 29th. Still ahead, the K-Love Fan Awards are around the corner, and we are talking to some of the nominees coming up, including Emerson Day.
It was such a Holy Spirit moment, but with such grit and such fire.
Studio 5 is expanding on YouTube, and you can help us to grow the platform by subscribing. Simply search Studio 5 with Efrem Graham. There you will discover the latest in uplifting entertainment, exclusive first looks on the latest films, music, and lifestyle content, plus one-on-one interviews with some of your favorite actors and recording artists. Simply search Studio 5 with Efrem Graham on YouTube. Please do it today. At number 3.
The Walt Disney Company and Blue Star families joined forces for their largest activation to date, a Blue Star Books event at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
For over 100 years, Disney has supported those who serve. And for over a decade, we've enthusiastically partnered with Blue Star families to bring really meaningful moments that can bring military families together.
This year, Disney is donating $2.5 million to Blue Star families, and for over a decade has worked to provide more than 370,000 books to the cause.
What helps my family feel more connected during those hard times like deployments and citywise is just having some things that they can kind of do and activities.
At number 2. Pop star Justin Bieber routinely uses his platform to share his faith.
You might not be used to this kind of atmosphere, but what you're feeling right now is the presence of God.
And one concert moment is making the viral rounds again with millions watching.
He doesn't need perfect people, he just wants to use average, ordinary, broken people like us. I'm tired of religion, you know? I'm tired of religion, I'm tired of division, you know? I want to know that Jesus who goes to where the broken people are, you know? We do got a hope, and his name is Jesus.
13th Annual K-Love Fan Awards highlights artists in music and film, and this year, singer and songwriter Emerson Day is nominated for Female Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, and Breakout Song. She shares her story with Studio 5. She began writing at just 8 years old. reading your musical journey is interesting because you were a lacrosse player and a good one. Tell me what led from lacrosse to music, if you will.
Yeah, music was always a part of my life. I grew up singing and writing in church as young as 8 years old, but I also fell in love with sports. And so I was constantly in the middle of, do I want to sing or do I want to play? And for me, like when I got to high school, it was, I want to play. That's what got me into college on a sports scholarship. I was actually pursuing a degree in law enforcement at the time. So I was playing lacrosse.
Homeland Security, right?
Pursuing Homeland Security. Yeah, and so it really was just a total God thing. I mean, I felt like when I moved back home after college and picked up that guitar again and started writing, the Holy Spirit just kind of used that time to nudge my heart. This is what you're supposed to do. It just was this relentless calling I felt to my spirit. And so eventually I just said, yes. Doors just started opening and God was so faithful and just started moving and making things happen. And so I really feel like it truly was going back and asking and finding what that next step was for me. Anyway.
I love that. I love it. Now, when I hear your sound and listen to your music, I don't immediately think worship leader.
Right.
How would you describe your sound?
Yeah, my sound, I tell people I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll, but I love Jesus. And so that's where we live.
So if you want to pick a fight, you better think twice, 'cause he's got an angel on me.
You have the privilege of performing with someone else that I really like when you sing Get Behind Me. Tell me how the working with Zach Williams came about.
Yeah, such a cool full circle moment for me, because when I was first getting into Christian music and the sound that I have, I can remember going to the Lord and kind of asking, where do I fit in this Christian music world? Because I know this is the voice and the sound you've given me. And when I heard Zach, and it was around 2016, I was like, okay, I think I have a place here if that is a sound, that he has and that's happening. And so I have admired his work for a really long time. And when the label came to me and said, hey, we would love to do a feature on this song, do you have anybody in mind? And me as a new artist, I'm going, oh yeah, I got somebody in mind. They reached out to his team and he came right back and was like, yes, it's an awesome song, let's do it. It was such a Holy Spirit moment, but with such grit and such fire. Like the emotion that he brings and his talent and attitude, I felt it was exactly what the song needed.
How do you describe where you are now?
Oh, it's crazy to me still, because going back to where I started in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, I don't know any.
Middle of nowhere, North Carolina.
I don't know anybody in the music industry. I'm struggling to figure it out, and God just opened the doors. And it's like, I started this journey 8 years ago, saying yes, I will do music, and to me, it is only a testimony of what God can do.
Emerson Day's latest song, Get Behind Me, is available wherever you purchase, download, or stream your listening material. It is now time for this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Our spotlight is Philadelphia Eagles Saquon Barkley, who in a recent talk opened up about his growing faith, sharing how building a relationship with God is changing the way he sees success, fatherhood, and the example he wants to set off the field. He recalled when he was a kid being asked what he wanted to do, and his response being, I want to play in the NFL. Posed that question to his daughter, and her reply is, I want to preach the gospel. With that, conversations with his daughter are now pushing him to take his own faith more seriously and to ask deeper questions. And the Super Bowl champion said that shift in faith came with a career-defining season and the best year of his life. And that is this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Still ahead, Sarah's Oil is nominated at the K-Love Fan Awards.
Faith is the glue. I think without that, this story does not play out in the way that we've come to understand it.
Studio 5 is expanding on YouTube, and you can help us to grow the platform by subscribing. Simply search Studio 5 with Efrem Graham. There you will discover the latest in uplifting entertainment, exclusive first looks on the latest films, music, and lifestyle content, plus one-on-one interviews with some of your favorite actors and recording artists. Simply search Studio 5 with Efrem Graham on YouTube. Please do it today. Welcome back to Studio 5. Here's a look at the #1 story in the world of uplifting entertainment this week. At number 1.
D-Day is in 61 hours from now. This is the largest seaborne invasion in history.
A behind-the-scenes look at Pressure, a war film as wild and wonder-filled as the weather, capturing the 72 tense hours before D-Day.
Thousands of lives hinge on this. I need a forecast. Churchill tells me you're the best meteorologist in the country.
Get me the latest readings from every single base within 2,000 miles of Normandy. The invasion's confirmed for Monday.
Oh, they won't like this.
General Dwight D. Eisenhower and Captain James Stagg face an impossible choice in this film in theaters next Friday.
If D-Day is cancelled, we will lose this war.
The final decision on the timing of D-Day will be mine, and mine alone.
We now continue our K-Love Fan Awards coverage with Sarah's Oil. The film is nominated for its impact. It's the true story of an 11-year-old girl who became one of the first Black millionaires in history.
My name's Sarah Rector. The state gave me 160 acres on account of my ancestors, and there's all a lot.
Well, how do you know that?
God gave me the ears to hear it. Do you hear it, Blue? There's oceans down there.
Naya, I'll start with you. How would you describe Sarah, and why did you want to play her?
I wanted to play Sarah Rector because she's amazing.
I've never seen anything like it. That field you're sitting on could be the richest in all Oklahoma.
I felt like there's so much I can say about her, that she's brave, she's ambitious.
I'll give you $20 an acre.
I ain't selling.
You want a war?
Tanika, you played Rose Rector, Sarah's mom. So you read the script for the first time, or the book, or you hear the story. What are your thoughts immediately following?
We've been talking a lot about just what a wonder it is that this story is not known. I had seen that picture that circulates, which is actually not her.
Right.
We found that out, from her descendants. I had seen that picture, but I had never heard the story. That was the first thing, was like, I'm sorry, what?
We're dealing with some mighty devious folks over there.
The need to fight for what's ours.
Is that why I see dynamite? That's my land!
No, it ain't!
I would not do that if I was in. You took the liberty of wiring up your wheels just in case you wanted to do something foolish.
So, Zachary, I read that you described Sarah as intelligent, precocious, and spirit-filled. How would you describe Bert? Does he match her spirit?
In a lot of ways, yeah. I mean, he's an intelligent man. And I guess you could also kind of call him a little precocious. Not as spirit-filled, certainly not in the beginning of the film, but I think that toward the end, that's a big impact that Sarah has on Bert, is to reflect God to him and to remind him that there is something bigger, larger, more important than the more, let's say, selfish life that he had been living up to that point.
You taught me things about my soul. Ain't nobody ever done that for me. Ain't nobody ever cared.
What do you think it is that allows him to stand with this little Black girl at a time where everyone is mounting a fierce fight against her?
I don't think he ever saw Sarah as anything, or her family as anything other than just other human beings. I think he saw an opportunity to make some money and then didn't realize that his life was going to be, changed by her faith.
You give him so easy.
What's your guess? Is he gonna do the right thing?
We shook hands.
You may have to speak to him.
I don't know what to say.
God'll give you the words.
Us being able to do this together is the other big thing, man, that just answered prayer. Like, it was phenomenal.
I love it. So husband and wife on screen, husband and wife in real life. Kenrick, you play Sarah's dad. What do you think guides and bonds this family in such a fierce fight? I was just struck by the unity that we're seeing.
Yes, I think in a word, faith. Faith is the glue. I think without that, this story does not play out in the way that we've come to understand it. And to get to walk that out in the rector's shoes, as with my real life wife and with our new surrogate daughter here, right? It's beautiful how it all took place, and God was there with us in between takes too, and that's how it all came together, and how the Rector family was able to overcome all of the adversity they experienced in this time.
The land had only weeds and lizards, it was all mine. But when people found out there was oil lines, they started thinking it's theirs. All I'm asking is to keep what's mine.
Her name is Sarah Rector, and you're going to be hearing a lot about her.
Sarah's Oil is now available on streaming platforms, and of course you can catch the K-Love Fan Awards with Lauren Daigle and Sadie Robertson Huff on Friday, May 29th. Studio 5 is expanding on YouTube, and you can help us to grow the platform by subscribing. Simply search Studio 5 with Efrem Graham. There you will discover the latest in uplifting entertainment, exclusive first looks on the latest films, music, and lifestyle content, plus one-on-one interviews with some of your favorite actors and recording artists. Simply search Studio 5 with Efrem Graham on YouTube. Please do it today. Welcome back to Studio 5. Music helps us to bring you this show each and every week. And this week, we want to take a listen and kick it old school with Kalante Gavin. Watch and you'll see why At the Meeting is what's playing in my ear this week.
We gotta go on. I done talked too long. I don't wasting my time. I remember when I met Jesus. Met him for the first time. Said he changed my walk. Said he. Mama stood up, y'all. Y'all better stop. Tell him I know it. No, I know it was. Know it was the blood.
At the Meeting. On that musical note, we are just about out of time for this week's edition of Studio 5. So let's now take a quick look at next week's rundown.
We must face the facts. The facts! However frightening they may be.
If not Monday, when?
Scenes from the film Pressure. And as we told you in this week's #1 in the countdown, it's the story of the tense 72 hours before D-Day.
Fate of the war hinges on this. All the pieces of the jigsaw are in place.
In a Studio 5 special report, we take you behind the scenes, give you a look at the making of the film with the cast and the crew. So you played General Dwight D. Eisenhower in this film. What would you say was the greatest pressure of playing him?
I think the pressure was that I needed to be like Ike. I had to listen and not just hear people and gain everyone's opinion and then take responsibility for the decisions to be made.
Please join us for that and so much more come next week. As for this week, we've got time now for just one more thing. Let's give the final word to Nate Bargatze. Talk to me about the power of laughter, if you will, and the ability to make people laugh.
The power is, all I can say is just from responses that I get from people and the times that they go through. I had a special come out during COVID. That gets brought up to me a lot, of like when people went through that experience and then they would watch that stand-up special, and it being kind of just about me and my family and not really, I try to just make fun of myself, and so people can watch it over and they can kind of go back to it as a comfort. I've had people tell me they listen to it on planes when they have anxiety flying, to just like, grandparents as they got older and they would listen. And so it's very special to when someone tells you that. It's hard to really kind of wrap your head around it, but laughter is just, it's that moment of like, it's the most you can really be in the moment of something, is when you're making someone laugh. And so it's a joy. When I do these shows, it's like every show's different, and it gets me excited to watch people laugh and now, you know, and they can come as their family. And I know how great that is. I mean, sitting there with your parents and laughing and watching your parents uncontrollably laugh makes you laugh even more, and it just is a bonding that I think is a wonderful thing.
Nate Bargatze, thank you so much. That is a great final word for this week's edition of Studio 5 and for this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then please come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching.